Hi, welcome to Explore Kids Online. It's really good to see you again. And here is today's video. And we are talking about mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, everybody. But it's what you do with them and how you look at them and how you view them that's the important thing. And that's what we're talking about today. And we have both got some Play-Doh, haven't we? Mm-hmm. Okay, and so what we're going to do, I'm going to tilt this down slightly so that you can see. And we're gonna make a little pot each, okay? So we'll show these to you in a minute, and you can tell us which one you think is the best, okay? And as we make these little pots, I'm going to talk about someone who made pots in the Bible, okay? He was called a potter. Okay, and he didn't work with Play-Doh because they didn't have Play-Doh then. He worked with proper clay. I wonder if you've worked with proper clay to make anything, either at school or at home, and what you've made out of clay. In fact, we'd love to see some pictures of some of those at some point. That would be really good. But the Bible says that there was a man called Jeremiah. Now, Jeremiah was a prophet. Now, a prophet is somebody who God speaks to and gives them a message to go and tell somebody else. And that's what Jeremiah did. But today, God didn't give him a message to go and tell somebody else, or at least not straight away. He sent him to visit the local potter, the person who made things out of clay. And Jeremiah watched, oh, I do like that, Ellie. Wow. Jeremiah watched the man making his clay pots and other clay things. And I don't know how long he was there, but the potter was working on, we think it was a pot, probably a potter's wheel. Okay. Now, which of these do you think is the best? You can put your comments in and let us know what you think is best. Personally, I think I like Ellie's one better, but see if you agree. That's mine, that's Ellie's, and yeah, let's carry on with the story. As Jeremiah watched the potter working, something happened. The pot got ruined. It just went out of shape, it fell off the wheel, something happened. It all went wrong. And what the potter did is he just rolled it back up into a ball and he started to make the pot again, just like I'm doing with this Play-Doh. And God spoke to Jeremiah and says, that's what I do with people's lives. That's what I'm going to do with my people. They make mistakes, and some of those mistakes are doing things wrong and sinning against me. But there's all kinds of mistakes. Not all mistakes are wrong. Not all mistakes are bad things. Sometimes mistakes are just mistakes. But God says, I'm going to help my people to start again. I'm going to help my people to put their mistakes aside and to start again. And today I want us to understand that God is bigger than our mistakes. We can make mistakes, we can even do wrong things, but God is bigger than all of those things. And if we keep trusting him, if we keep believing him, if we take those mistakes to God and ask for his help, then God is bigger than our mistakes. And we made a little video beforehand just to show you how that works even more. So watch that video now. How when we trust in God and ask him to help us with our mistakes, it can make all the difference. So Ellie, we've got a bowl full of water here, and what have you got there?
I've got some black pepper.
And the black pepper is going to represent our mistakes. Okay, what are you going to do? Oh, going to tip it all over there. There we have it. And can you see all the mistakes that we can make, and we worry about them, and we think that they've just messed everything up.
Stand up.
Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, and then what have we got to represent God?
Washing.
Some washing up liquid. Okay, now watch this. Isn't that amazing? Brilliant. So all of the mistakes have been pushed away. It's as if they're not there anymore. It's been cleared out. Some of them are still there because sometimes our mistakes they're just there. But we don't have to worry about our mistakes.
No, we don't.
When we've got God in the equation. Can you see that God is right there in the middle? The washing up liquid has stayed where it was. You'd expect it to, because where would it go? But it helps us to remember that God stays with us in our lives and is with us all the time and can help us to deal with the mistakes that we've made. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Well, we hope you enjoyed that video and hope that it helped you again to remember God is bigger than our mistakes. And I've got something else that will help us to remember that too. Look at this. This is a bit sad, isn't it? My mistakes, and two very unhappy looking people there. But look, that's not what it says at all. It doesn't say my mistakes. It actually says, my God is bigger than my mistakes. I think it says my mistakes, but it says my God is bigger than my mistake. And we're going to show you now how to make that folding picture. And actually you can use it to make all kinds of different folding pictures as well. So what you want to do is you need an A4 piece of paper which you're going to fold in half just like that. Okay? So, fold that piece of paper in half like that. Brilliant. And then you're going to fold it again. You're going to take this one edge, fingers and thumbs, this one edge, and fold it like that. Okay. And then I'm going to start off by writing the words, my mistakes. Okay, so we're not going to make it all nice, all fancy. I've spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time making that, and you can make a really good job of it by taking your time. We're just going to show you the basic principle, the basic idea. So on this top part, remember it opens up like this. On this top part, you write my. And then at the bottom, you write mistakes. There you go. And then if you want a couple of sad faces that turn into happy faces, then you can draw your face like this. I won't bother with any ears today. Okay, so a couple of eyes, and then you want to draw your frown so that it kind of goes right to the edge of that first folded paper, like that. I'll show you what I mean. I'll turn it around and show you what I mean in a minute. There you go. Can you see it goes right to the edge there, your frown, so it touches the edge. Okay, and then you're ready to start working on the inside. So you open it up. And to turn the sad face into a smiley face, you're going to give him a nose. You're going to turn that sad face actually into a nose. So complete your head, and then give him a nice round nose like that, and a big smile underneath. Okay, there you go. So I'll do the same on this side. And a nice big smile underneath, so that they're not sad anymore. So that was your frown up to the fold, but it's now become a nose, and it's a nice smiley face. So it's time to write the other letters. So we're going to write on this top part here, we're going to write God in nice big letters. Now, bear in mind, you might actually want to do all of this in pencil first, especially if you're trying to make a really nice one like that, because that way you'll be sure of getting your letters in all the right places and not making mistakes, and then you can go over it in pen. Of course, you don't have to use felt tips to do this. You can use crayons or colouring pencils anyway. But my God, we're going to now write is bigger than my. So my God is bigger than my, and it's going to say mistakes, of course. And that's absolutely brilliant. Now, what we're going to do is show how that works. Now, of course, this is the very simple version, as we said. You might want to make it really much nicer and more artistic. But there you go. Oh, I like that, Ellie. That's brilliant. Okay, so here we go. My mistakes. No, that's not what it says. It says, my God is bigger than my mistakes. And that's to help us to remember that. Now, of course, as we've said, you can use this method to make all kinds of other pictures. So on YouTube, we watched one where you did an ice cream, didn't they? So,
yeah.
So this was just a single scoop ice cream there with the cone there. Sorry, you can't see. This was just single cone was there with the scoop there with the ice cream cone there. But then when you opened it up, Ellie, what did you see when you opened it up?
3 more scoops of ice cream.
3 more, because in these hidden bits, they've done 3 more scoops of ice cream underneath that one. So it's a big tower ice cream. It was absolutely cool. Absolutely cool. Because our mistakes are not the end. God is bigger than our mistakes, and we can trust him to even bring good things out of the mistakes that we sometimes make. Because every move we make with him with us. We make in him. Just like this song shows us. I think they had a lot of fun making that video, dancing about and having a good time there. Okay, we've just got one more thing that we want to talk about to do with mistakes, and that's how it's really important that we learn from our mistakes, because that way we don't make the mistakes again. And I want to tell you another story, this time a story about Jesus. It happened after he died and when he'd risen from the dead and started to appear to his disciples, and he appeared to a disciple called Peter. Now, before I get to that bit, I have to tell you that Peter had messed up. He'd made a big mistake. His mistake is that when Jesus was arrested by the soldiers and taken away, Peter followed and found himself in a courtyard, and lots of people came up and told him and asked him, "Do you know Jesus? I've seen you with Jesus. You know Jesus, don't you?" And Peter was really scared, and so he made the mistake and he said no. In fact, he said no 3 times. And what was worse, Jesus had already told him that he was going to do that. And so Peter must have felt really, really bad. He must have felt that he'd made such a big mistake, he could never get past it. But remember what we said, God is bigger than our mistakes. So fast forward until when Jesus had risen from the dead and Jesus met him and the other disciples. And after spending a bit of time with the disciples, he said to Peter, "Peter, let's go for a walk. Let's go and have a chat." And as they were walking, Jesus asked him, he said, "Peter, do you love me?" He asked once. And Peter said, "Yes, Lord, I do love you. Yeah, you know I love you. I love you. Yes, Jesus, I love you. You're my friend. I care about you. You're important to me. You know that." "Brilliant," said Jesus. "Brilliant." And they kept on walking. Then after a little while, Jesus asked again. He said, "Peter, do you love me? Are you my friend?" And Peter says, Yeah, I've already told you." This was the second time that Jesus had asked him. The second time Jesus had asked him, he said, "Yes, Jesus, you know all things anyway, but I've already said, you're my friend. You're my friend." "Good," said Jesus. "Look after the others, will you?" "Good, yeah." Then they walked on a little bit further. And do you know what Jesus asked again?
Same question.
Exactly the same question, this time number 3. "Are you my friend? Do you love me? Peter, are you my friend?" And by now, Peter must have been thinking, "Oh, but you've already asked me that twice already. Don't you believe me? I feel so really bad because of all the mistakes that I've made. And oh dear, why are you asking me again?" Now, some people think that it was actually a different word that Jesus was using, and that Peter somehow wasn't answering correctly before the first 2 times. But I don't think that's what was happening at all. I really don't think that's what happening at all. I think that Jesus was asking Peter 3 times because Peter had denied him and pretended that he didn't know him 3 times. Because Jesus didn't just want to forgive him, which he was definitely going to do. He wanted Peter to come out of that situation strong and confident and happy because he'd faced up to what he'd done and received Jesus' forgiveness. And so 3 times Jesus asked him, "Are you my friend? Do you love me? Okay, do you care about me?" Because 3 times Peter had denied him, because Jesus wanted Peter to learn from his mistakes. He wanted Peter to realize that his mistakes were in the past. He didn't want those mistakes kind of to be bothering him in his mind. He wanted Peter to be able to look back at this time and know that he dealt with them pushed them aside, and moved on. That's what Jesus wants us to do when we make mistakes as well. But he does want us to learn from our mistakes. I've got a mirror here. It's a funny looking mirror actually, but it's the only mirror that I could find as I was looking for a mirror. You said there was a much better one at home I could have used, didn't you? Oh, it's shining a light. But there's the mirror. There you can see. Look, you can see us on the computer screen there. Look, I don't know how many times you might look in a mirror on an average day, but wouldn't it be weird if you went and you looked in the mirror like that, and then you went away and you immediately forgot what you looked like? I mean, can you imagine, Ellie? Imagine you're looking in the mirror, okay, and then having looked at yourself in the mirror, you walked away and thought, have I got long hair? Come back. Have I got long hair? Well, surely you've looked in the mirror. You could see that you've got long hair. You know you've got long hair. Well, you looked in the mirror and you sort of said, what colour? You know, what colour are my eyes? Because you've looked in the mirror, but you've immediately forgotten what you look like. James talks about that in the Bible in his letter about something else. But I think it can also be about when we don't learn from our mistakes. Really important that we try to learn from our mistakes, because when we don't learn from our mistakes, it's like looking in a mirror and immediately forgetting again what we've looked like and what we've seen. Whereas if we can learn from our mistakes, if we can think about our mistakes, not worry about our mistakes, but think about our mistakes and try and learn from our mistakes, then we're going to be in a much better position afterwards. We're going to be more ready to take on the future and to take on the world. Wouldn't that be great, to take on the world because we've learned from our mistakes? Yeah. Fantastic. It's been so great to have you with us. I think this video has gone on a little bit longer than normal, but let's finish it off by praying, and that will be absolutely great. Father God, thank you for the time that we spent together again today. Help us to remember that you are bigger than our mistakes. So we don't have to worry when we make a mistake. We don't have to worry when we get things wrong. We don't even have to worry when we do things wrong. Do wrong things, because you are bigger than our mistakes. You can forgive us and help us to get things right. And because you are bigger than our mistakes, we can learn from our mistakes and we can get better and better. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks so much for being with us. See you later.